Bang, bang. It's gotta happen. It's gotta happen. Yeah, we're back. We are full stride. I think it's time to tease apart one of the emergent properties of Clown World, which, if it hasn't occurred to you, we're absolutely at the peak. We're at the pico top of Clown World. And one of the preeminent features that nobody but me will tell you about is the fact that the top, and I'm talking altitude here, altitude is way oversold. It's way oversold. There's nothing at the top. Nothing at the top. All the young Gen Zers, all the millennials still gunning for the top. I'm here to tell you, as someone who's been at the throne for numerous years, I've been dethroned, I've been back on the throne numerous times. I'm telling you, there ain't nothing up there. It's one of the gayest places you can be is at the top. So I'm going to bring you on a journey. We're going to go into the underworld today because that's where all the posh leather seats, the luxury, the love, the intangibles, it's all in the underworld, baby. Welcome to Clown World. And we're going to take a hopscotch down there today in the magic school bus. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to start this off with a story for you that's going to bring this into a frame that will be impossible to ignore. Okay? It's going to change your perspective forever. And I'm going to drop this on you right now. There is a phenomenon in dating right now where a guy came to me the other day in my DMs and he told me that he had locked down the hottest girl of his life, the most beautiful woman that he had ever had the opportunity to take out on a date, gave him an opportunity to do that. And so he took her to a luxury dinner. This dude's loaded. He was throwing around cash, dropped 2 G's on dinner. Chemistry was popping. Glasses were tinkling. Toasts were made. Things were headed in the right direction. Now, he told me that he had planted back at his crib, he had planted a satchel of cash. He had a fuck ton of cash sitting in a fucking backpack. And he said that he had pre-planted it there in the corner of the room, unzipped, half unzipped, so that if she were to go back with him, there was like a 1 in 3 chance when she puts her purse down that she would chance upon his cash pile, right? So you know what this motherfucker's doing. He's leading with his wallet. He's leading with his wallet, which is a huge, huge issue with men in general, but we'll get to that later. Because he thought that would be, the icing on the cake to close the deal. So he's going into the story and he's telling me that everything was perfect. She goes back with him to his house after dinner, first date. He's already got it in the bag. It's over. She comes in the room, puts her purse down, boom, jackpot. Happens to place her purse down, peeks inside the half unzipped backpack, sees the pile of cash. The vibe instantly changes. Now, I'm not going to play devil's advocate and say that she knew for a fact it was planted there, because that's irrelevant. But the bottom line is, she ended up going home that night. He got no cookie, 0 cookie, and they never spoke again. Now, let me tell you something. there's a fucking 100 examples in your life right now where you already have everything in the bag, and then you go and you oversell yourself. Overselling is a major issue, especially among Gen Zers. Do you understand what happened here? I do very clearly. And I'm going to share it with you. He oversold himself. It was already in the bag. It was done. If she didn't see the pile of cash there, it was over. He'd be fucking her right now. That's exactly what happened. And I'm here to tell you that this is a phenomenon that is absolutely, because we're in an inverted culture. The peak symptom of clown world is that everything is inverted. Everything. Being overqualified makes you underqualified. I want you to chew on that. Being overqualified makes you underqualified in clown world. And so what happens is, because I've noticed this trend for a couple years. I was actually the first to pounce on this. I've been discussing this for a very long time. That basically being fully loaded and being super breaded is a major handicap with women. And it is. It's a major fucking handicap. Especially when you're leading with your wallet. Because what happens is he artificially raised her price. You get it? He artificially raised her value. He made it bloated. So now she had no choice but to pull back and make herself harder to get because he raised the price. He was already in. And a lot of guys are doing this to themselves. A lot of guys are artificially raising the value of the opportunities that are already perfectly fitting like a glove right in front of their fucking face right now. And so what happens is, and this is why the guys with the fancy jobs that are making $500,000 a year, $1 million a year, it doesn't fucking matter. This is why these guys are the biggest fucking strugglers in the dating market, is because women want the fun guy. They want the fun guy. So when you come in, Mr. I got it all put together, Mr. Clean Cut, Mr. Fancy Shirt, Mr. fucking Gucci Wallet, you don't understand that you just artificially raised the price. Now you got a woman who already fucked with you, already liked you. Now she's thinking, oh, he might be Mr. Right. This actually might be Mr. Right. And now I got to pull back because I don't want to look like a hoe to a guy who might be Mr. Right. So now you got to invest 6 to 9 more months of doing the same fucking song and dance to hopefully lock it in, which is absolutely fucking insane. Whereas the motherfucker who's just a fun guy, who didn't lead with his wallet, the loser, who's just a fun guy to be around, he got it day one. Day one, it was sold. Sold, stamped, sealed, delivered, done, right then and there. And the best part about being the fun guy is you can up convert and take that thing, you can transform that motherfucker any way you want to down the road. Fun guy can become serious anytime he wants. You got all the latitude. You're so versatile starting out as the fun guy. And so a lot of you motherfuckers, especially you crypto guys who made a bunch of money, this is your biggest problem, is you can't stop leading with your wallet because you got nothing else going on. Major, major fucking problem that you see not only nationwide, worldwide. So I'm here to tell you, what if the motherfucker you are right now, what if this whole game of self-improvement and I gotta get better and I gotta get more money in my account, I gotta be somebody before I can get the type of woman that I want in the life I want. What if that was the biggest motherfucking sham that ever came down the fucking pike? And I'm here to tell you that it is. There are no upgrades. There's no upgrading is the biggest fucking lie you've ever been sold. Every man is enough right now. I don't give a fuck what kind of body you're in. I don't give a fuck what your bank account looks like. You are enough as a male. As long as you got that thing dangling between your legs, you are enough for every woman right now. Welcome to Clown World. Welcome. Have a seat. Scoot your fucking ass under the tent and enjoy the show. Because I'm here to tell you the money shit, and I called this years ago, just ain't slapping like it used to. It is the least impressive thing. Just in general, wealth has lost a tremendous amount of respect in general in society at large. It's been severely vitiated in the last couple years. No one really genuinely respects it. Like doesn't just command the same respect that it used to, because everyone can just punch keys and basically print money from their computers. And so it's a very, very lagging indicator. And, you know, you're talking to a motherfucker who I've had 8 figures multiple times. I've pissed away bags. I'm fucking tens of millions of dollars in debt. I got debt up the wazoo. I got fucking tens of millions of dollars in gambling debt. I got fucking millions in personal debt that I'm figuring out. But one thing that I'm here to tell you is that everything that you want in life spawns on the ground floor. There's nothing at the top. Nothing. The private militias, the armies, the soldiers, the friends, the relationships, they're all on the ground floor. Networking is even upside down right now. You don't want to get in the rooms with the killers. That's a very antiquated method. And you can cry in your beer over this, but I'm here to tell you that necromancy is in fashion right now, which means taking a bunch of beat up warriors on the ground floor, which means the friends that you currently have, the losers, quote unquote, those are the guys that you can assemble elite teams with. All the guys that you have hovering around you right now, all the elite teams are being built and manufactured and refabricated from those types of setups. You know what I'm saying? Even all these emergent tech companies and shit, it's a bunch of unemployed pirates that get into a room that have grit, tenacity, and guile, and they're able to fabricate something majestic and bring it to real life. That's just the times that we're in. And a lot of you just cannot process the times that we're in. You're just not processing the times that we're in at all. One other remark that I really want to make to hammer this home. This is a phenomenon that'll be relatable to a lot of you. There's something about having your coffers full of money. It does something to your brain where all of your needs are fulfilled. Money is gotta be the most powerful drug on earth, in the sense that when you're super loaded and your accounts are super cushioned and padded, you will kind of notice, if you're keen enough, that all of your motivation and drive completely gets sapped. And then everything kind of becomes mechanical. It's very bizarre how money actually morphs and takes away even like your sexual desire to a degree. It's just, money is such a fulfilling thing to have. It makes you so bloated, and the gluttony is so maxed out that you start going after chicks in a very mechanical homosexual kind of way. But you know what's interesting? And you'll notice this in your personal life. All the relationships that you've had that were the most organic and lasted the longest, you met those women when you had nothing. Nothing. And you were the most beat up, and you had welts and sores, and you were hurting bad. Because there's something about having a financial deficit when you need money badly and you're in that desperate place. It creates a massive sink that needs to fill every other need along with it. It's one of the most fascinating fucking mechanisms about human psychology and especially male biology is that when you have a financial need, it's insane how you gravitationally suck in everything else along with it. Women start coming. The angels specifically are attracted to the wounded soldier, the guy that's in need. Now love starts getting fulfilled. Other relationships start getting fulfilled. And that's why I've always said the super wealthy, mega successful guys, they tie up their money, they fucking do stupid shit. They're in a bunch of debt. Their money is not necessarily able to be readily accessible to them because I think intuitively they understand the strain that it causes to be too abundant. Abundance has to be the most felonious, fallacious, motherfucking new age bullshit principle in existence. It just doesn't fucking hit. It just doesn't hit. And you'll know this when you're too bloated and you got too much abundance, you are crippled and disabled in a lot of fucking ways. It's undeniable the power of this shit. Both the mothers of my children I met when I had nothing, completely busted out of the game, millions of dollars in debt. Fucking thousand yard stare on my fucking face, basically slack jawed, brain fog, can't think straight. And then the angels appear. I'll give you a great example of this. You know that Shannon Sharp story that's been floating around? This is a beautiful example. The Shannon Sharp story that's been floating around. I've known this for a long time, and I'm going to share it with you. There is a feature. This is not a bug. There is a feature. Those clean cut, too hyper polished type of dudes who have it all together. And this guy's like a hyper example of this. Um, just go look at a picture of Shannon Sharp. Look how put together the motherfucker is. Look how clean cut. Those types of guys attract the absolute abominations and demonic women. Always. Because those types of women see them as prey. And those dudes are always getting embroiled in some sort of brouhaha or hostile fucking conflict with predatory women that are trying to fucking clean them out and fucking the craziest divorces. It's always the clean cut motherfuckers who get preyed upon by the succubuses. And it's the dudes who are more of the thrill seeker types, way more rugged around the edges, a little bit of darker energy that attract the absolute angels. The absolute the most angelic, beautiful, heavenly, ethereal, lithe women will creep into your life if you're a guy who's a little bit more rugged around the edges. Those guys just don't take a beating by women the same. It's unbelievable how this shit works. Everything is completely fucking polarized in this life. And because I've been a guy who has pretty much dedicated my life to science in a way. In a way, I have dedicated my life to the art of living. I I'm on the ground floor. I got my boots on the ground. I mean, I can literally all of this comes from personal experience. You're talking about a guy who's intentionally squandered generational wealth numerous times to dedicate my life to wisdom and knowledge, to really understand the human condition and psychology. That's why I did it. You understand? But I'll tell you this, there is no abundance. And this is one of the most gruesome paradoxes that will ever slap you across the face. And this will make your mind go to rack and ruin to really understand. There is no abundance like being just a naked man with nothing. There's no abundance that I cannot express the time warp and the portals that open and the type of power that you wield. You know, a couple years ago, I had lost everything. And I had a buddy of mine that let me stay in his $10 million house, this lake house. And he let me stay there for free for 6 months to rebuild. And I would wake up every day in this crib and it was 10 milli. I had nothing to my name. I didn't even have a pot to piss in. And I was just laughing. I was like, people dedicate their entire lives to getting homes like this and they save and they make all the smart moves, all the right moves in life. And here I am. I just got a buddy who's just letting me crash here. Yeah, I don't have the deed to the house, but for all intents and purposes, I'm the owner for a short period of time. And there's guys out here gunning, racking their brain, trying to figure out all the lateral, intelligent moves they can make to get into a crib like this. And this was just a phone call. And I'm in this crib. Long story short, eventually I had to vacate the house. And I flew back to Arizona and I had a dinner meeting when I got to the airport. I had a dinner meeting with a bunch of wealthy dudes. And I hadn't been to Arizona for like a year, but I took them to a steakhouse that I'd been going to frequently. And these guys are all dressed to the fucking nines, you know, wearing suits and shit. I'm wearing like a fucking trench coat with like cotton balls stuck in it. Like I haven't showered in 2 weeks. My life's an absolute fucking disaster. I'm getting off the plane. I'm leaving this $10 million house. I got nowhere to go. I'm landing back in Arizona. I'm trying to figure it out. I got a family I'm trying to take care of. I'm putting up reckless fucking shots. And I'm walking up to the restaurant and I had invited one of my native homies in Arizona to the meeting just to goof off and fuck around. And he pulls up and he's dressed like a fucking bum too. And it's me and him and we're dressed like fucking bums and we meet all these guys outside the hotel lobby and like I said, they're dressed sharp as fuck. And we walk up to the door and there was a doorman that I hadn't seen because I haven't been there for a year. This was like a new configuration they had at the property. And he looks at my boy and he's like, "Yo, you can't come in here wearing those shoes." I think he was wearing flip flops actually, and this is like a 5-star fucking Michelin type of place. He's like, "Yo, you can't come in here with flip flops," and I just interject immediately. I got all these dudes around me, and I just interject, and I look at this motherfucker in the eyes, and I'm like, "Listen, this is gonna go down one of two ways, okay? And you get to choose, but it's gonna go down one of two ways. I can go in there myself, and I can flag down the GM who's my boy." And we can make this a humiliation ritual and he's going to get in anyway. Or we can just cut the shit and you can just let him in right now. But either way, he's getting in there. What do you think the motherfucker did? Right this way, sir. No problem. Boom. He gets in. Boom. I get in. I'm dressed literally like a fucking bum. We go into the fucking restaurant. We get seated. And everyone in the restaurant is dressed to the nines as well. It's just a bunch of like real put together people that are super concerned with their appearance and probably have very stable lives. That's all fine and dandy. But I did find it funny that my boy was wearing a fucking $10 hoodie. No joke, that I think he got off the rack at like a CVS. And he got fucking 3 compliments on the hoodie from 2 women while we were seated at the fucking restaurant. It was like an open bar. He gets 3 compliments in the span of an hour on his $10 fucking hoodie. And I didn't see one single motherfucker in there rocking the $2,000 gear that even got a second glance, let alone any fucking speech at all. And I'm sitting there cackling, belly laughing at just this phenomenon because it's just the fucking aura. It's just the motherfucking aura of this dude just walking in looking completely out of place, and he's the one getting all the fucking attention. It's fucking unbelievable how this shit works. I think someone asked me recently what I think the gayest archetype is. It's got to be professional trader. Has to be. Professional traders, I don't care what fucking market, stocks, crypto, gotta be the most insufferable fucking faggots on the fucking planet. I just cannot connect to the mindset whatsoever. This is the most powerful fucking indoctrination. Is this whole idea, like, imagine building your entire life, your modus operandi is built around this idea that you need to avoid bumps and bruises, risk management, all these gay fucking terms. The whole premise of trading is just anti-nature. It's so anti-life. There's no vitality in that. There's no vitality. Your entire life is built on safety and preservation. Do you know what a boring fucking dolt you are going to become if your grip of on the wheel is completely dedicated to safety and sanity? I just don't know what to tell you. It is just the most motherfucking cucked position you could ever be in. So what do you how do you think this plays out? You stack hundreds of millions of dollars linearly in your basement, and then do you really believe that you get to go back and just patch up all the holes that you caulked with that fucking waterproof sealant? You think you just get to go back and just go pluck the wisdom that you missed along the way? Like, what is the end goal? Because all you're doing when you dedicate your life to all the smart decisions, right? This is literally what people dedicate their life to. This is what you're taught from a young age, is that you can only do what the sensible move is. It's got to be it's got to be financially smart. Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here with that bullshit. That's not how life works. That's not how life works at all. Life is holistic. Life is holistic. That's why, by the way, generalists are the real specialists. Specialists are the losers in life. You don't want to be a specialist. You want to be a generalist, because a generalist has a way more unironically specialized understanding of life. The generalist, far superior position. You only go to a specialist to bail out a generalist. You understand? Specialists are there to bail out the generalists, not the other way around. I mean, look, you don't even have to take my word for it. Look at literature, look at cinema. These are not accidents. There are countless tales of daring do that are told on the silver screen that you can literally extract and just look at it and be like, look, this is actually a simulacra of how life works. Dumb and Dumber is one of the best movies of all time because it's about a bunch of fucking retards who look like geniuses throughout the entire course of the movie. They're dodging bullets, they're dodging misfortune constantly. Even the villains in the movie are convinced that these guys are high level experts at what they're doing. And these guys are fucking bimbos, bumbling around, enjoying life, and just luck boxing their way into cash. And then the guy ends up with the chick in the end. Like, that's not a movie. That is literally what is happening on a daily basis in America. Forrest Gump, another example of a dumbass who is just so dedicated to life that he basically luck boxes his way into a multi whatever fucking fortune. A lot of things in life just kind of have to happen to you. And you can't be so fucking opaque and so strained and so cautious, because life is going to cuck you in a very, very, very different way. You know what I'm saying? Like, this has been my mantra forever. This is why you need to be porous. You need to be porous. You need to have holes and gaps in your heart in order for the sink to continually allow itself to fill. That's how the opportunity wheels, that's how the flywheels continue to present themselves to you. There has to be hunger, there has to be a deficit. And this is in accord with this is harmonic to nature. You know what I'm saying? Being a priest of chaos is living in deep harmony with nature itself. Deep harmony. All right, we might take a detour here. Someone asked me, I just got a DM. Someone asked me what is the greatest tell of a normie? It's a good question. What is the biggest tell to the unobservable eye? If you don't see someone speak just through body language, what is the tell that someone's a normie? I got a good one for you. You ever been at the grocery store or any store in general, Home Depot, and you know how you'll be in an aisle and people will just stop? Or on the sidewalk outside, like a motherfucker will just stop randomly. You're walking by and this dude will just freeze like fucking R2D2. It's almost like these normies are geofenced. They're geofenced. And when they go to a certain part of the geographic rendering, their batteries just completely fizzle out and they just cannot move anymore. Literally, like they go outside the geofence and they just stop. And you're like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I'm moving through an aisle and you're just gonna stop in front of my way. It's really baffling to me how this shit works. But I think that's the best tell. I think that's the best tell is when you can just tell a motherfucker's geofenced. I got another good one for you off the top of my head. You ever been to a restaurant and you order something exotic, right? Maybe you're a carnivore and you're a big dude, you're a lifter, and you order like 4 or 5 filet mignons and they come out and you're kind of seated, your orientation, you're sitting in like the center of the dining hall. I will tell you right now, this actually might be the best tell of all time that you're looking at a normie. You ever seen a family next to you and when your food is being delivered and they're putting the plates down, everybody does like an armchair dip? Like they're doing fucking tricep dips in the gym. They do like a dip in their chair, push themselves up so their butt is scooted off the chair, and they're just gawking at your meal. Like completely cranking their head, staring at your dinner, doing armchair dips to see how amazing your steak looks. I've never done this in my life. I've never once, hand on my heart, I have never been interested in my life as to what another person is actually eating. Ever. That is the last thing on a list of 5,000 things you could compile that would be interesting to me. That is probably in last place. I've never seen a dish come out and people crank their heads and be so excited, licking their fucking lips, drools fucking coming off their fucking chin, staring at your fucking meal going, oh my God, that looks so fucking, what is that? And then they fucking, they tug on the apron of the server that walks by and they're like, what is that guy eating? Dude, it's just fucking steak. It's just a filet mignon. Like, to get that fucking excited and have orgasmic juices overflowing like magmic lava from your sacrum over a meal, that's a really good fucking normie tell. Last one has to be you being comfortable seated on a fucking commercial flight. If being on a commercial flight does not aggravate you and make you viciously angry, it might be over for you. No exaggeration. No exaggeration. I cannot think of a more freedomless place than being on a fucking commercial flight. I made a vow years ago. If I can't fly private, I just don't fly. Period. I would rather take a fucking Greyhound before I'm getting on a fucking commercial flight. Think about how insane it is. Really think about this. I want you to actually really visualize this. Think about the insanity of putting yourself in a position where you're sitting next to a fat fuck on a flight, right? Who can't, even if it's a short flight, let's say it's a fucking 2-hour flight, a fat fuck who can't go 2 hours without consuming food and drink. It's insane, first of all. The fact that the average American can't go 2 hours without stuffing something down their throat. That's already bizarre in its own right. But picture this, okay? You're on a fucking flight. You got a fat fuck next to you. You've got the aisle seat. I did not consent in any way, shape, or form to allow you to order your fucking wine, and now the fucking stewardess has to drop the wine over my lap, hand it to the fat fuck next to me. I didn't consent to be in this position because I know that you don't have motor control, and I know you're gonna spill this wine on me. I know it's gonna happen. And this happened to me on my last commercial flight, and I said never again, because it's a spiritual principle of mine. Never again. She gets delivered the fucking wine. I'm watching the wine rocking in the fucking plastic cup, and I'm like, I just know it. I know it's coming, guaranteed. She's gonna fucking move her arm, and this thing's gonna fucking go all over me. So I close my eyes, and I'm in a meditative state, and I'm chilling. And I'm just in a relaxed place. I'm like, I got to dissociate from even being on this flight. This was years ago. I got to dissociate and go to like a heavenly place in my head just to cope with this. And all of a sudden, I feel a warm sensation just dripping down my pelvis, going down my leg. This droopy, drippy fucking substance just floods my pelvis. And my eyes are still closed, and I just start grinning. I'm like, of course, the fucking wildebeest next to me spilled the fucking wine, and I'm the one who gets drenched. Think about how insane that truly is at an existential level as a man. All of you say that you admire freedom, and you're in a position where somebody else that you didn't consent to has to control a drink that can get spilled on you. Like, if that doesn't existentially make you come out of your chair, you have no passion for life. Zero. None. And then you factor in the other bullshit on a commercial flight. Like, you're telling me that somebody can fuck up my entire day, possibly 2 days, by just saying something stupid or getting into a fight. Like, if I'm going to Dallas from LA, you are telling me that if somebody on this flight that I've never met in my life decides to get rowdy, you're telling me that this plane is not going to Dallas. It's going down in whatever buttfuck town we're in now. And we got to wait for marshals? We got to wait for marshals to board the plane and get this motherfucker off so I can get to my destination. So you're telling me I'm now dealing with like a 10, 12, 16-hour delay because somebody else decided to get rowdy. That is absolutely insane on every level that you would ever put yourself in a position like that. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Take a stagecoach, fucking canoe around the fucking Pacific. Commercial flights is an absolute abomination to mankind. Period. All right, I got to smoke a ciggy. I don't even think I took a breath in the last, 30 minutes or so. We got a lot of questions. We got Holden. 20, sales, investing, life. Let's see what Holden has to say. What's up, baby? Holden. Don't you get scared now, boy. There he is. Yo. Yeah, we cannot hear you. We cannot. So you got to go, my friend. Yeah, you out. Yo, Noah. What's up, baby? Talk to us.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, what's up, Root? First of all, that airplane story is one of the funniest fucking things I've ever heard. But so, I'm a young buck. I'm on the mission. I'm moving to a new city very soon. And in my local dominion, there's a lot of nice steakhouses, some five-star restaurants, the Waldorf Astoria. How do you go about sort of being gregarious and convivial and locking down these places while you're still kind of scraping the barrel for cash in a way?
Oh, my boy, you cracked the thesaurus on some of my old spaces. I love those words.
Of course.
It's a good question. So here's the deal. The Crown Heist. I did a post about the Crown Heist. And the Crown Heist is one of the most underrated concepts in existence. And it's what all the young bucks should be dedicated to. The Crown Heist goes like this. Okay. There are so many vacant lanes that nobody is attuned to that are you can literally reach out, grab the crown, throw it on your head, and declare yourself king, and everybody else will follow suit. One of those concepts is related to this idea, and this is sort of the necromancer underworld approach. I don't think a lot of people have understood that you don't need to be the owner of an establishment to act like the owner of the establishment. All right. This has been a trademark thing of mine for a very long time. You don't need the land deed to the hotel to act like you own the motherfucking hotel. You can walk in and basically just be the owner because you decide to don that cape. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was outside that When I was outside that hotel glass in the foyer, and I had to get Buck on the doorman and tell him, look, this is what's going to go down. And he let my boy in. That was unprecedented. That establishment, I know for a fact, has never made that exception in history. And it's not about the example itself seems trite, but it's not, because it's a fractal, right? It's a microcosm of how power dynamics work. And so the thing is that what people don't understand is because I have the millionaire limp in both legs. I basically have rheumatoid arthritis in both legs from both of my 8-figure ventures that I lost. That swagger gets impressed in the way that you move and in your body. The bling, this is kind of my whole point of this whole space is the bling fuses to you to the point where you could take it off and it's like you have it on. So when I was at that door, I was naked. But you would think that I had the fucking $500,000 Richard Mille on, and you would think that I have all the bling, the signets, the fucking jewel encrusted crowns. You would think that shit was on me, but it wasn't. And that's my whole point about being a man is it's about superimposition. The experiences and adventures that you have as a man superimpose themselves on you into your spirit. This is something that money can't buy. So your question is, how do you dominate these spaces when you don't have a lot of cash? You don't need money whatsoever to rub shoulders in those types of establishments. Those types of establishments, the reason why I've recommended for a very long time to go hang out at the nice places is because of just the entropy. The entropy. You're littering the ground with seeds that will fertilize over time by being a known face and a known figure in those places. You know what I'm saying? Being a regular is a very, very powerful thing. Having that home turf. I only play home games. Okay. I'm not a fucking road junkie. I don't believe in playing on other people's turf. If I have a meeting, you're coming to my turf. It's a home game. Game 7, I always play at home. And so if you don't have bread, you better stretch yourself thin and become a fucking generous tipper. I'll tell you that right now. Because the extra $20 to you ain't going to change your life, but it's absolutely going to change a server's life.
Absolutely.
The stratified reverse impact of being a good tipper. Now, tipping is there's a whole art to this. I could dedicate a whole spaces to that because there is definitely there's definitely gray eminence when it comes to tipping. You can tip and look like a needy, desperate dork, and there's also a different way of tipping where it comes off as extremely natural and graceful. There's some guys who tip and they look like an absolute fucking dork, clown. You know what I'm saying? And there's some guys who are genuinely doing it because they understand the concept that when you give shit away, it always comes back.
Is it cool if I interdict real quick? Because I don't want to lose
Yeah, yeah,
this
yeah.
flow.
Go.
So yeah, I'm totally under the impression that like the cash I have, like the ROI in terms of tipping is incredible in terms of long term locking that place down.
Yeah.
But what yeah, I was kind of coming more from a nuanced place. Like I know you got to tip well, you got to grease palms with all these guys, but yeah, what are those subtle nuances of like
Oh, you got to ask for favors, my brother. That's the biggest thing is you got to ask for favors. If you're going to pull the crown heist, you better fucking live up. You better live up to the part. So you got to ask for favors, which means, and this has to be natural too. I'm a very fickle person by nature. I like things a certain way and I have very high standards. So when I go to these places, I make very unusual requests that are just organic. I'm not forcing it, but it's just like I want my food cooked a certain way. I like things a certain way. And so I put people to work in a way that they're not typically used to working. Like, for example, I'll be at a restaurant and there's a valet guy outside. I'll go ask the valet guy to go get me a pack of smokes and bring it to my table. And what people don't understand is these guys love these side quests because their job is so monotonous. They're just parking cars all day. You come in, you throw a wrench in the game, and you're like, yo, do you mind running to that gas station? I really need a cig. Bro, these guys will hoof it. They will fucking hoof it like a fucking galloping gazelle to go get you a pack of cigs, and they love it. They enjoy having like an unusual request. So you start making these unusual requests, you start getting those orders fulfilled, you start taking care of those people. Obviously, you got to give them gratuity. And then when you come back, you know what I'm saying? You're now the guy who makes these unusual requests. You're walking through these places and you got a lot of different people coming out of the fucking cabinets, coming out of the woodwork saying what's up to you because you're just a cool dude. That's sort of the premise of how you kind of build on the ground floor. And then, like people talk about social proofing, kind of a gay concept, but this is the organic way to do it. I mean, imagine taking a date or any business prospect through a restaurant like that and everybody knows who you are. Like literally everybody in the hotel knows who you are. That's a very powerful position to be in, and it don't take much money to make that happen. It just doesn't take much money to wear that crown and pretend like you're the owner of the property when you're not. That's kind of what I'm saying is like that's a very shortcut way to go about life in general.
100%. So you're saying
Being the owner is a cucked position in a lot of different ways. I'll do a post on this, but I got some pretty deep insights as to like there's certain instances where being the owner is a very good thing, but in most cases it's actually the cuck position. But go ahead.
So you're saying you kind of just got
Does
to
that
put
make
like
sense
a
to you?
fission. Yes, totally. You got to kind of put a fission in their monotony in a way. You got to kind of make them remember that they are.
Bro, you gotta have people, you gotta put people to work. You gotta have people running around doing unusual shit, going to, the basement to find this special thing. Like you gotta have people running around the fucking property to make things happen, to perform miracles. You got to turn them into miracle workers. And it's a symbiotic relationship because it's very respectful and it's very tastefully done for them because genuinely they get fulfillment out of serving and helping. And you're also getting what you want and you're also reciprocating that by giving them gratuity. And so you're building a very symbiotic relationship and that's very translatable to a lot of different things. This is kind of why I said, like, those are your people. It's the service workers, it's the people on the ground floor in the rubble and in the bones of life that are really going to pick you up and make these experiences more colorful. The people like the sharks at the top, the fucking, it's all gay up there. I'm telling you, like, this is ground floor, grassroots, organic expansion, right? I'm talking about expansion here. Expansion is so much more powerful than altitude. Like everybody's gunning for the top. Everyone thinks you got to climb Jacob's ladder. Like everything's at the top. I'm telling you, there's nothing up there. Everything is on the ground and everything is about horizontal expansion outward. And once you see it like that, you can't unring that bell. It just makes so much more sense when you realize you have all the tools and resources and infantry and weaponry literally right under your nose as we speak. And you already are who you need to be. Like there's no becoming. You don't need to become anybody else. You don't need to change a thing. I think a lot of young guys are holding themselves back from living until they hit some invisible milestone. It's very unfortunate. Um, it's this boomer mentality. I had an Uber driver that I commissioned to pick up packages for me. And I had just started this relationship. Like I needed a personal driver to go pick up stuff and go deliver it to me. And the first time I made a deal with him to deliver me a package from a different location that it was dropped off, I tipped him. It was like 15 minutes away. I tipped him $100. And just to kind of like bring this example home, this guy made a huge mistake. He rejected the tip, said, "You're way too generous. I'm not going to take this. If you send it to me, I'm going to send it back." I sent him the 100 anyway. He sent it back to me and he ruined the relationship. I never worked with him again. Those of you who are very intelligent will understand his mistake. He's thinking, he's in that boomer mindset of like, oh, if I reject the tip, it's going to make this guy think I'm a G and I'm going to work with him more. No, buddy, you've fucked up the relationship real bad. And I actually think you're a moron and I never want to work with you again. And it's like, when he did that to me, my first thought was, oh, okay, this is a guy who's just, there's something in him that's not allowing him to live life yet. He's one of those guys. He's one of those guys that can't allow himself to live until he gets to a certain vantage point, or there's something going on where he's just not allowing himself to live yet. And I'm telling you that no matter what your current condition is, it's a very, very workable, livable condition. I'm telling you that for a fact. I don't see really any helpless cases out there, especially with men.
Yeah, man, I think all those vantage points are totally illusory, and like you always say, man, you got to rock with what you got, and what you got's the best thing. So yeah, everything you said makes total and complete sense, and
Yeah, man.
very much
Wish
appreciated.
wish you the best, bro.
Yeah, thank you, man. I'll keep it moving. Much appreciated.
Yo, Vince. What's up, baby? Talk to us.